All right, so Excel or even Google Sheets that you can just simply go to www.google.com/sheets. So kind of nice if you don't have Excel on your computer, you can access Google Sheets. And what's kind of nice about this is it'll do math for you. Each one of these boxes are called a cell, and a cell has to do with the column and then the row. So if I click in this cell, and notice it even says right here B4, I'm in column B and then row 4. So if I have some information, so let's say I have this utilities and subscriptions. One thing to notice, if the information in the cell is going over to another cell, you can go in between here and click and drag. So that's kind of nice. And let's say I have cable, electricity, if I can spell. So I'm just typing in each one of these cells, water and sewer, gas, phone, Netflix, Hulu. That's probably good enough. Well, we'll do Spotify. All right, so let's say I have these and I want to put in how much I'm paying. So let's say cables, $126.41, electricity, I don't know, $350. That's probably good enough. $350. Water and sewer, let's go $50. Gas, $25. Phone, $100. Netflix, $10. Hulu, $20. And then Spotify, $10. So I have these values and I just simply type them in here. What's kind of nice about Excel is they actually have, and I'm going to zoom this in so it's a lot bigger. They actually have built-in functions. And if you know the functions, it's pretty easy to get it to do these for you. Like for example, if I want to just add all these values up. I just want to know if this is my total utilities and subscriptions for a month. I want to know this value. So I can type total. I can even click and bold it. I can do things like select these two and even highlight it with that little paint bucket. And so from here, anytime you want Excel to do something for you, meaning the calculations for you, you start with an equal sign. And notice this is how smart it is. It says, do you want to add these? And that's what I want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and type it out just in case if it didn't pop up. So to add, you do a sum, open a parentheses, and then you tell it what do you want it to sum. And I want it to sum starting at the first cell B2 and then go through B9. So that's what this says to do, to add up those values. So if I hit enter and I pick up a calculator and actually manually put those in, it would actually add to this value. What's nice about this is, let's say that I made a mistake in the cable. Watch this number right here. So if I go in here and say, no, that should be 150, notice this updates. And that's why you want to use formulas like this, because anytime you make a change, it will update. Another thing you might want to do is you might want to know what the average. Okay, so the average means you would take all these values, add them up, which I did, and then you would divide by the number of values. I'm going to highlight those two cells. Excel actually has a formula. Remember, when you want Excel to do the work for you, you type an equal and then average, open a parentheses. Now watch, I'm going to do this a little different this time. I'm going to click and drag instead of typing and then close my parentheses. So what this is doing, it's actually adding all these values up and then dividing by the number of values to get the average. Once again, if you make a mistake and say, no, electricity is really $250, notice both of these updated. So you want to get good with using Excel. And again, the big key is you've got to start with an equal sign, Notice here, none of these, I started with an equal sign. I just simply typed them in. But whenever you want Excel to do the calculations, then you always start with an equal sign and then whatever you want it to do. Sum, average. And so one thing to note is Excel is a calculator. If I started with an equal sign and I just simply typed 3 plus 5, when I hit enter, notice there's an 8. And so it's kind of nice for that you can use this as a calculator, but these functions, you're going to see these built-in functions, especially average, are very nice to use.